So we'll talk about bills of lading. Okay. First of all, what is bill of lading? So bill of lading is actually a document of title to the goods. उसका मीनिंग क्या होता है कि एक शिपर या एक एक्सपोर्टर जब कार्गो एक्सपोर्ट करता है तो उस कार्गो का एविडेंस देता है कि ये कार्गो अभी मैंने शिप कर दिया है, और कंसाइनी के पास जाने के बाद कंसाइनी के पास जब वो डॉक्यूमेंट आएगा तो वो डॉक्यूमेंट लेके ही वो कार्गो छुड़ा सकता है. इफ ही डज नॉट हैव अ बिल ऑफ lading ही कैन नॉट get the delivery of the cargo. This is the first point. Okay, so it is a document of title to the goods, which means जिसके पास BL है वो कार्गो का ओनर है. अगर लॉस्ट भी हो जाता है और किसी और के पास चला जाता है तो by law he is the owner of the good. It's like a bearer check. अगर आपके पास bearer check है, आपके जेब से वो गिर जाता है और किसी और के हाथ में आता है, वो बैंक में जाके वो पैसा ले सकता है और बैंक को कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं रहता है उसमें कि आपने क्यों इसको पैसे दिए, क्योंकि वो बेरर चेक था. सिमिलरली बिल ऑफ lading. सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज दैट इट इज अ डॉक्यूमेंट ऑफ द टाइटल टू द गुड्स. ठीक है. सेकंड थिंग, इट इज अ नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट, व्हिच मींस ऑन अ बिल ऑफ lading you can transfer the cargo to somebody else. Supposing the ownership of the cargo was vesting with consignee ABC, and when the cargo has been shipped, after it has been shipped, if you want to change the ownership to somebody else, you can endorse the BL from behind with your stamp as the shipper and say please deliver the cargo to XYZ party instead of ABC party. So that is the second function of a bill of lading. Okay. The third thing is to establish the responsibility of each party on that particular document, which means what is the shipper responsible for, what is the consignee responsible for, what is the shipping line responsible for. So all the three parties, what are their responsibilities, what are their risks, what are their liabilities, everything is mentioned behind the bill of lading. Okay. Fourth point is that in the event of some unforeseen event that comes up, like for example strike, riot, earthquake, any water which the cargo getting jettisoned, which means the container falls into the sea. So what are the rules that govern that particular shipment under such exterior circumstances are also mentioned on the bill of lading. So therefore there are four things that the bill of lading actually covers. Okay, this is first point. So this is about bill of lading. Now which are the different types of bill of lading which is available? Okay, first is a normal straight bill of lading. It's called a straight bill of lading, in which shipper, consignee and notifier is mentioned. Okay. The second way in which a bill of lading can be issued is where the shipper's name is mentioned, the consignee column will say to order, and the notified party will be some XYZ party. What is the meaning of to order over here? Which means that the document is to the order of the shipper. Okay, which means if the shipper says that instead of giving it to the notified party who is mentioned in the notified party column, you give the cargo to ABC party, then the shipping line can arrange to give the cargo to ABC party without any questions. Otherwise, the shipping line has to take the consignee's no objection. If it was a straight bill of lading, then shipper, consignee and notifier, all the three will be there. On the consignee column, whoever is written, that person also has to agree that this cargo can be given to somebody else. Although the final case is that the original BL is in whose hand, he is the owner of the good. So supposing the shipper endorses in favor of XYZ party instead of ABC party, no problem. That can also be done. Is it clear? So that is one way. Third thing is the consignee will say as to the order of ABC bank or to the order of Citibank, which means that the cargo is under a letter of credit. Then the shipping instructions come from the shipper, from the party, saying that to the order of Citibank, to the order of HSBC Bank. It means that as a letter of credit has been opened, and the ownership of the goods will first transfer to the bank, not to the consignee. So the shipper will take the document bill of lading from us. He will go to the bank, submit it there, collect his money. So the original bill of lading is now with the bank. Bank will send it to his corresponding bank in that destination country. then the consignee will go to that corresponding bank and say, here's the money, give me my document, and then he will go to the shipping line. You understand? So that is another way in which bills of lading are released. Okay. Now next point is, why are bills of lading surrendered? Because many a times you come to a case that, okay, you surrender this bill. Why is the bill of lading surrendered? So there are 2-3 things. Number one is, if the consignee is a known party and the commercial transaction, the money transaction related to that particular cargo is either complete or he is a credit party. Which means, supposing a shipper, say Hindustan Lever, he sells cargo to Hindustan Lever in UK. So buyer also same and seller also same. So therefore they don't really need to make any commercial money transfer. They can adjust in their books, or they can do whatever they want because both the parties are the same. Therefore they will say, okay, you can take the BL and surrender it. I don't need the original document, I only want the delivery to go. So by surrendering the BL, what it means is that the original documents are not dispatched by courier or through banking channels to the consignee. Just a message will go from the shipping line that yes, the original BL is surrendered with us here. Please deliver the cargo without presentation of original BL at the destination. So that is a BL surrender. Okay. There are various ways in which BLs can be surrendered, various circumstances under which BL can be surrendered. It can also happen that the shipper will take the original BL from you. He'll tell the consignee, look boss, I've got the original BL with me now. I'm sending you a scan copy. You send me my remaining money, then I will surrender this BL here. So today, if the vessel has sailed, the shipper will come to you and say, give me original BL. Okay, so you took the original BL from the shipping line and gave it to him. After 1 week, he will come back and say, boss, now I want to surrender. Why does he do that? Which means he has given the evidence to the consignee that he has shipped the goods. Therefore, please pay me my money. The consignee has paid him all his money. He says, now I want to surrender the BL. That is also possible. It is not necessary that at the time of shipment itself, the shipper should declare, do you want to surrender or not? Not necessarily. Now, next point. Can the BL be surrendered in any other country? Supposing shipment is going from say, Nhava Sheva to any West African port. Can the BL be surrendered in Singapore? Or can it be surrendered in Hong Kong? Yes, wherever the shipping line has got their office, it can be surrendered there. Why does this happen? This transaction happens because there are traders involved with the shipment. For example, say GNFC, large chemical company. They have sold the goods to a West African buyer through a trader. So what will the trader do? He will take the document. The trader must be sitting in Hong Kong or in Singapore or somewhere. So he will take the document, he will keep it with him. He will ask for his funds from that West African buyer. After he has received the funds, he would have probably had to pay for the cargo in advance to GNFC. That is why GNFC has given him the document. This GNFC will keep the document with him. He will not give the bill of lading. So once GNFC gets the money from the trader, he will say, okay boss, you take the document. So he got his document. Now he has not got the final payment from his buyer in West Africa. So he will keep that document with him. So he is sitting in Singapore. Now after the shipper, the consignee, that is the actual importer of the goods, will pay him the money, he will go to the Hong Kong office or the Singapore office of that particular shipping line and say, I want to surrender this BL. So he will go there, surrender it, he will give a letter, please give the delivery of the cargo to so and so buyer, and the Singapore office will send an update in the system. That is called a surrender message. So this is what is the use of a surrender message. So it is not necessary the shipper पहले क्यों नहीं बोला मुझे, shipper पहले ही बोल दिया होता कि मेरे को surrender करना है, कोई जरूरी नहीं है.
जैसा कि है बहुत टाइम पहले क्या था, 5 दिन 10 दिन के बाद बोलते surrender करो.
हाँ, वीवीएफ डर्बन केस बहुत सारा हमने किया हुआ है.
पैसा विस्तार आने के बाद वो बोलते हैं.
Clear हो गया?
उसके बाद सीए भी होते हैं.
हाँ, now next is CWA BLs. Why does somebody issue CWA BL? Now, of late I have noticed that the CWA BL has become synonymous with surrender of BL. Because now everybody is using online systems, so there is no surrender message as such which is going, they just update their systems. So usually a CWA BL is issued when the shipper and the consignee are both from the same group company. Okay, and the actual rule is that the shipper and the consignee both have to give a letter to the shipping line in their own format, which is indemnity. It is basically an indemnity that says that we are willing to accept any consequences and we will not hold you responsible in case you give the delivery of the goods is given to somebody. And basically it means that as far as the Seaway BL is concerned, it is exactly like a surrender BL for practical purposes, and there is no surrender message required. In the beginning itself, they will declare to you that we want a Seaway BL and so consignee should get the delivery of the cargo. So that's how now Seaway BLs are being issued. So Seaway BL and surrender BL as of now is nearly the same. Okay, now we'll come to the point about switch BLs. Okay, before switch BLs, let's cover master BLs and house BLs. Okay, why is a master BL issued? Why is house BL issued? Okay, so the shipping industry is now in a way controlled a lot by forwarders, big and small. So a forwarder, what he does is he involves his own bill of lading for certain shipments. Now the reasons for that could be that the consignee has got certain clauses to add on the BL which the shipping line may not be willing to give. Okay, or they may be taking one master BL for several containers and then issuing several house BLs for the convenience of their customers. Okay, so a master BL basically means that the declaration of the shipper, consignee and the notifier will be the forwarders and their overseas counterparts on the master BL. Like for example, on our master BL we'll say Kingstar and consignee will be XYZ forwarder in that destination. Okay. But the house BL will show the actual details of the particular shipper, consignee and notifier. Okay. And the master BL we will immediately surrender and the consignee can go and take the delivery of the cargo from our destination agent. So therefore we issue house BLs in some cases, depending upon whether our customer is comfortable with it or not. Now why customers are not comfortable with house BLs is because the house BL does not have as much sanctity as a carrier's BL, which means in the case of claims etc., the house BL is back to back covered by the master BL. So when the claim comes on the house BL for any reason, then the forwarder concerned will declare on a letter to the shipper saying that this particular BL was covered under so and so master BL. Please refer your claim to the shipping line concerned who issued the master BL. So that in a way makes him uncomfortable. Okay. Second thing is the forwarders do overcharge at destination. So when a house BL is involved, they know that the consignee is now within their control, so they charge extra money to the consignees. So the trade practice has made it bad to issue house BLs. So whenever we issue house BLs, either we have to communicate clearly to the customer that these are the charges that you will incur, or you discuss with your forwarding counterpart that you should not charge any extra money to our consignee. Otherwise, we will lose that customer. He will only work one time with us. Okay, so this is one thing about master and house BLs. Okay. Now we will come to the case of switch BLs. Why are switch BLs? Why do people issue switch BLs? Okay. So what happens in switch BLs is, supposing there is a trader in the middle, okay, who in the purchase and the sale of the goods. Supposing a cargo has been purchased from China and it is going to West Africa, there is a trader based in India. So how does the trader does not want that the final buyer in West Africa should know where he purchased this cargo from. Otherwise on the bill of lading it will be written, shipper so and so company in China, consigned directly to the West African buyer. So that means in the next transaction the West African buyer can go directly to the China party and buy the cargo, due to which the trader concerned will be out of the picture and he will lose the edge of the shipping of that cargo, which means the commercial transaction, as far as the trader is concerned, he has lost everything. So therefore he will ask us to issue a switch BL, which means one BL that will say from China to destination, no changes on anything else other than shipper, consignee and notify. No other details should be changed. The weight, the description, nothing should be changed. The marks and numbers, container numbers, nothing, dates, nothing should be changed except for shipper, consignee and notify. This is the ground rule of switch BLs. Only things that you will change on the switch BL is shipper, consignee and notify. So the first bill of lading that you will issue will be showing shipper in China. The consignee will be the one that is based in India, the trader. Notify party will be maybe the same as this particular trader. Then when the switch BL is issued, the shipper will change to the trader in India, the consignee will be the actual consignee. So therefore in cases of switch BLs, the having house BLs makes it much more easy because there are fewer questions asked when house BLs are involved. Other shipping lines, they have got various formats, various indemnities, various letters that need to be given by different parties before which switch BLs are issued. Therefore, we see that when switch BLs are issued, incidents of house BLs are more. So this is to clarify about what kind of BLs have to be used, when it has to be used. Still, if you all have further queries, you can always get back in touch with me. I will explain further.
Can I tell that?